All right, welcome everyone to the event of the month of the year, 31 must-have sales tools in 2013. And as Coco mentioned to you guys as we were leading into this, we have literally over 800 people signed up for the event. We continue to watch people come into the webinar venue here to watch this. So, kudos to all of us for being here, and it sounds like we have what we have here is a very popular topic. So one thing I want to say before we move on, we do have a hashtag for the event. It's social talk, and so you can talk to us in the via the webinar app. There's a place for you to make comments or ask questions. You can also interact with us on Twitter at this hashtag. Okay. So next slide. So here's what we're doing today. We got there's a couple trends that are happening in the world of sales, and it's really been exciting. I don't know if anybody here has seen the amount of blogging I've been doing on it just leading up to the event. It wasn't just for promotion. It was that as I started to work on this event, I started to realize that there is a movement happening. It's literally, I will describe this as, it's crazy. I mean, since this latest Sales 2.0 show, they talked about over 2,000 sales tools being available on the market today. And I felt like just watching the experts here come up with their decks that, there was a lot of options for them, and they, to be able to just do a couple for them was a challenge, because there's so many things that people can go do. The other thing that I've realized is, as I looked through the deck and did my research on who we wanted to talk about, that this is a movement for both the salespeople and sales managers. A lot of these products are built for individual rep productivity. They solve pains that happen to the everyday salesperson. And you can go and you can make yourself more productive without your sales manager, right? And if they're in the way, that's not something that should deter you, because pricing models and the ability to buy with your credit card has changed the individual sales rep's ability to make themselves as productive as they can possibly be. So with that, I want to say a couple things. There's a lot of sales tools out there. There's a lot of things happening. And so what we decided to do today was we brought 6 sales experts. I meant to say 5 because I felt weird including myself. But we have 6 sales experts here to talk about roughly 5 or 6 tools each. I think we actually ended up with 32 sales tools. That's my fault, but whatever. We'll get through all this. We're going to talk about each product for 90 seconds. And before we do that, what I'd like to do is just have each expert just give us 30 seconds background on yourself. And I'm going to start here with Coco. Coco, if you don't mind just giving us a quick intro.
Hey everyone, my name is Coco Sexton. I work at InsideView, and I'm the founder of Social Selling University. I primarily manage the social channels and lead generation efforts for InsideView.
Great. Matt?
Yeah, my name is Matt Hines. I'm president of Hines Marketing. We're a sales and marketing consulting firm specifically for B2B companies. And you can find us at Hines Marketing on Twitter.
Nancy?
Sorry, I'm here.
Miles?
I was on mute.
Oh, sorry, go ahead,
okay, I'm here. Sorry, I was on mute.
That's okay.
Okay. So I'm with Smart Selling Tools, and we are a consulting and advisory firm that helps companies help their sales organizations be more productive and sell more through the use of smart tools.
Terrific. Miles?
Good morning, everyone. Miles Austin here. I'm the author of Fill the Funnel, and our company does one thing. We focus on sales web tools for salespeople to help them be more productive.
And Brian?
My name is Brian Villeneuve, and I am the principal and founder of a boutique consulting firm called Innovantage, and essentially we help in a number of ways help organizations accelerate growth through strategic customer-focused transformation initiatives. That takes place a number of ways, so I split my time consulting, speaking, and writing. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Terrific. And I'm Craig Rosenberg. I'm the author of The Funnelholic and a demand consultant myself. So before we go, I do want to mention there's a really cool webinar happening here, and it looks like on December 20th at 11. It's a conversation with Jill Rowley, who is not just a social selling sort of thought leader, but actually a doer, right? So her and Coco, who's also not just a thought leader, but actually an implementer of all these tactics, they're going to have a conversation for everyone so you can ask them questions and learn from them about kind of what's real and what's not in social selling. All right, let's hit it. So I get to go first, and I will go, and I set the rules that everyone can talk about products for 90 seconds, and I will probably break that rule. Ready? Go. So the first one is one of our sponsors, DocuSign, and by the way, I probably could have gone to them for the benefits statement, but I have to tell my own story. It is truly one of my favorite products on the market. The e-signature movement is a lifesaver for sales. There's nothing more painful than the last mile of the selling process, and I just don't understand why you wouldn't use something like this, unless you prefer fax machines and printers, right? My biggest story here is end of the quarter, I decided to take a meeting. I don't know why I did that. Sales rep calls, it's our biggest deal. He's like, I need you to sign this so I can get it to the client. I'm like, dude, I'm on the road. He goes, pull over, go to Starbucks, pull out your iPad, and DocuSign it. Boom, DocuSigned it. It didn't automatically send the paperwork to the client. We got the deal done, and that's the kind of stuff that ROI stories are made of. Inside View, as you guys know, another sponsor, another great product. The biggest thing for me is, in today's world, empowering salespeople to be as intelligent and as aware of the account that they're selling to as possible. And what Inside View is doing is they're aggregating data from, well, you can see here 30,000 sources. I was going to say, without knowing the number, a lot of sources, right? So you can take your accounts, you can understand what's happening in them and make the right calls at the right time to the right people. You could build lists in there as well. And the trigger events feature where you're creating watch lists of your prospects and getting triggers based on what's happening. Those are the kind of things that people that are selling to enterprise type accounts need and crave today. So Cred for CRM is another sponsor. I bet you didn't know that they were available for salespeople. Let me just put it to you simply. Cred, it works in your Salesforce.com. It's really cool. Yes, it is. I went and checked it out, and I love it. So here's the deal. Basically, you can do a couple things. One that I really like is you can basically understand the Twitter relationships that are happening in your opportunities. So you're in an opportunity, and you can connect anybody, right, that's in your Salesforce.com to the Twitter accounts of the people that you're working to deal with. And so that is really important, but also you can find out what conversations they're having, and you can figure out how engaged they are with those folks. You can also rank, score, and create lead lists around the most influential leads to go sell to. Prioritize, by the way, it's a great app for customer service as well. You'll know kind of who's more likely to talk about you or who anybody would even care about. So it's essentially, look, all the things that you do on LinkedIn, what if you could do it for Twitter? That's Cred for CRM. Radius Intelligence is a new client of mine, and I'm going to tell you that I love what they're doing. Here's the net. We have lots of data sources to get enterprise class data. These guys are focused maniacally on small business, and I mean small, I mean the local business. They have 21 million small business records, and it's machine-based, right? So they're constantly updating what's happening to these records in real time. And the second thing is they're not just aggregating records. It's not some scraper, right? They're actually aggregating lots of data, whether it's social data, news data. Right? They've got, for instance, Yelp, Foursquare, Facebook. All of that information is being sent into these records so you can go out and you can sell smarter than you ever have before. But the key for me with Radius is I still to date have yet to find a company that has local small business data. And this is the one. So Connect and Sell, they're not a. This is like a favorite of mine. They were a game changer for me in my previous job. It's for companies when you've got to have lots of names that you're trying to connect with. It's very simple for me. There's a lot of things that they do, but for me, it's about that you buy conversations with them. And a lot of times in the sales and prospecting part of the business, the hardest thing is to have a conversation. So imagine just paying to have 5 to 15 conversations in an hour. In my old business, 5 to 15 conversations was a day of work, and 15 was unheard of. We could get that in an hour with Connect and Sell. So for us, the ROI was staggering, right? Basically, we were getting a day's worth of work done in an hour. So I think I did it, right? Okay, great. So I'm handing the mic, ladies and gentlemen, to Nancy for Nancy's tips.
Wow, that was great. It's going to be so hard to keep it to 90 seconds, but I promise I will do my best. So I'm ready to show my first sales tool. There we go. As I mentioned, we advise companies on really how to make their entire sales organizations more productive. And so my picks are based on the ones that our clients like the most. And the first question I want to pose is, how would you like to gather real-time intelligence from the field and have that information automatically available to you as a manager? That's what SalesPod gives you. So it runs on smartphones and tablets, and it means that reps no longer have to boot up their laptop or connect to the internet or log into their CRM system and navigate through records. The most exciting part for sales managers is that you'll get a complete picture of what's happening in the field in real time. One of the biggest issues I hear from sales leaders is that they don't have the visibility they need. And without regular and timely updates, managers can't make timely decisions or provide meaningful coaching. And SalesPod takes care of that problem. So here's how it works. Reps make their customer visits throughout the day, reporting their activities using simple forms on their phones. And all activities appear in a real-time news feed on their manager's console. And reps can get fast access to important back-office information like order updates, catalogs, and presentations. And then here's an example of how Sunset Trading is using SalesPod to make sure that reps are doing the calls that they need to be doing and to monitor and analyze key information regarding visit details. Reps weren't quite sure about if they were going to like this new, quote, visibility until they saw that they were earning an average of $1,000 a month more in commissions. That always helps to convince people. Okay, my next tool is Qvidian, and I'll ask another question, which is, what would happen if all your reps suddenly performed at the top of their game? Meaning they knew the best things to say and what to send to or share with prospects based on the prospect's interests or who they were. That's where Qvidian comes in. With Qvidian sales playbooks, reps get what they need for each specific sales interaction. So that includes the right information like relevant marketing collateral and sales best practices that are tailored to each unique selling situation. And that's very important. Persona-based selling is key if you need to be relevant to your prospects. What's equally appealing is that using Qvidian's playbooks over time, managers can get amazing insight about how people, processes, activities, and content are being used throughout the sales process, and with what level of success. So as an example, Global IT Services, they use sales playbooks to establish a single sales methodology with verifiable deal progression, and to ensure that reps use focused messaging that's aligned with each customer based on the business outcome. And as you can see here, the results, they experience 2.5 times higher average deal size when playbooks were used, and 85% of closed won opportunities leverage playbooks. Most important maybe is that 75% of the closed lost deals did not follow the methodology of playbooks. So that's why I like Qvidian. So I'll move on to team visibility next. This is a unique tool that is aptly named. It gives you visibility into how your team is interacting with prospects and how the prospects respond and what the related outcomes are. And if you want to achieve sustainable performance improvements, you have to follow knowledge, or you have to have full knowledge of what's working and what isn't. And that's what team visibility gives you. It gives you that knowledge. And here's how it works. The system captures the interactions between the reps and the prospects, and it turns them into what they call game tape. So at the beginning of the day, a rep, or beginning of the session or whatever, the rep will just hit the start button, and then team visibility begins to capture their screenshot, the microphone, and the event outcome. So what sets team visibility apart, there's some other products that will allow you to record sessions, but team visibility makes it possible to search the database of these game tapes. So here's the kind of insight that they can get. Let's say you're a manager and you want to know what approaches most often resulted in a meeting being scheduled. You can search the game tape for calls that resulted with a scheduled meeting and then select a few of those to listen in on. That gives incredible insight that's essential, really, if you want to provide quality feedback or just share best practices across the team and to build an ultimate training library. So there's no better example of how this can be used than with Foresight, which is one of the leading sales prospecting companies in the industry, and they use team visibility to drive their overall performance. Okay, my next tool is Quote to Win. Today it's all about sales speed and agility. Time kills deals. And searching around in different price books for each account and verifying who's eligible for which discounts and promotions, it just doesn't bode well for speed. With Pro's Quote to Win, you can get enhanced quoting and easy pricing management, and it's right inside of Salesforce. So with the product, reps don't have to search for the right price anymore. They don't have to waste time cutting and pasting data and worry about if it's going to be accurate or if they copied it right. Instead, they simply add a product to their quote in Salesforce, and the right price for that account appears. And it also shows the appropriate discounting guidance, relevant promotions, and any other available sales intelligence that they might need. So it really streamlines the entire approval process as well, because you can build in some thresholds that empower reps to set the right price with little to no management intervention, and that saves time for everyone, and it gets quotes into the hands of prospects far faster. So here's a case in point. Faced with complex quotes, Nexidia realized that their reps were spending way too much time generating and shepherding quotes throughout this process of pricing, and they just weren't spending enough time face-to-face selling. So they adopted Quote to Win, and now their salespeople can configure the quotes online, and they have the confidence, and that's key, that the prices they're delivering are accurate, and also that they're pre-approved and they won't get shut down later on. Okay, my next tool is Level 11, and Level 11 is really changing or reinventing the sales contest by allowing companies to inject competition into any sales behavior within Salesforce. And if you have trouble getting reps to adopt and use CRM, this is a great tool to use because you can use it to incentivize those types of behaviors as well. Typically, contests are still used, managers are still doing contests in spreadsheets and whiteboards, and that's just a huge administrative drain. And Level 11 makes it easy just to create the contest quickly, and it even creates real-time leaderboards so that you don't have to manually do those, and reps can stay extra motivated because they always know where they stand. So here's how it works. If you just go to the App Exchange, you can download Level 11, and then it'll walk you through a setup wizard in about 10 minutes. A sales manager can quickly define the dates of the competition, what behaviors to motivate, what prizes they want to give away, who's included, and then pre-schedule the automatic leaderboard updates and decide are they going to be shared via email or Salesforce chatter. What I like about this application versus other gamification products in the market is that it's easy to use, and it's built 100% on the Salesforce platform, and it can be put in the hands of a sales manager, and this is key because then it makes you a lot more nimble. You don't necessarily have to run it through IT or sales ops. And in fact, I've heard them joke before that it's so easy, even a sales manager can do it. Comcast uses Level 11 to get the most from their Salesforce investment. That can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars. So they use it to keep their reps focused on the right Salesforce behaviors and also the right prospecting behaviors. And as you can see, they ran a contest using level 11, and it increased their appointments set per day by 127%. Okay, my next and last tool is Visualize ROI. And here's why I've included them. And it's because people don't buy products, they buy value. First and foremost, they want to know what they're buying, if what they're buying will turn out to be worth their time, worth their effort, and their money. And because buyers are busier than ever, you have to help them figure this out. And Visualize ROI does just that. Their solutions ensure that reps will sell value consistently and throughout the sales cycle. The traditional ROI tools, they're traditionally done and adopted inconsistently because they tend to be excessively complex spreadsheets, they're hard to use, and they're not typically integrated with CRM or marketing automation systems. Plus, they lack version control or the ability to track or analyze data. Visualize ROI, it addresses those problems head on, and it enables you to transform your current model, like from your spreadsheet that you already have, into a visually engaging, easy-to-use web application. And when you capture information off the web tool, then you can automatically integrate that data directly into your CRM system, and that gives you powerful insight for your sales process. And you can also publish these models to your channel partners. Each model can have multiple templates if you have different vertical industries or buyer personas or sales cycle stages. Best about the collaboration, or best about this, is that you can track the interaction. So if a rep shares the tool and the analysis with the customer, they'll get notified when the customer interacts with the tool. And all of that key client data and potential savings get captured into the CRM tool. So I like Visualize ROI because I've heard that $60 billion worth of sales quota is delayed or discounted due to the buyer's inability to quantify and present the value effectively to internal stakeholders. That means you have to do that for them, and you have to do it throughout the sales process, and that's why I like Visualize ROI. So I did it. Those are my 6 top picks, and hopefully I didn't use up more of my time than I was supposed to.
Thank you, Nancy. That was great. Okay, everyone. Our next up is Miles' picks from sales expert Miles Austin.
Thanks, Craig. Nancy, you only left me a minute left, so I'll go fast.
Yeah, please do them in 5 seconds or less. I'm just keep going.
Looking forward to it, gang. Taking a lot of notes so far. Someone going to flip that slide for me? There we go. I've got 6 as well, and as Craig said, it's hard to pick only 6, but I've really narrowed these down with the focus on individual salespeople today. So if you're an individual producer, these are for you. First one is paper.li. I get a lot of people that are confused by what this does. Basically, it's a content curation service. What I look at it is, it's one of the most productive sales prospecting tools and a communication tools I've ever used. It's a business development tool, it's a prospecting tool, it's a communication tool. Inbound, outbound salespeople, doesn't matter. Marketing teams from a company standpoint can use it. Branding as well. What does it do? Paper LI simply goes out with about a 15-minute to 20-minute setup. You go out and you select the topics and the keywords and the categories and the industries and those key industry influencers that are important to your customers on a specific topic. It generates all of that while you sleep at night. It gathers from all over the web, from Twitter and Facebook and all the social platforms, from key blogs, from news services, etc., and it puts it in a format that is just awesome. I call it the USA Today of newsletters. It generates this and distributes it out to anyone that has an interest on either a daily or a weekly basis, and you make that choice when you set it up. So here's how I use it as an example, and maybe some of you have seen this in your Twitter feeds, your emails. If I have a customer that was out, a technology company, a large laptop manufacturer, that wanted to get in front of this whole movement of BYOD, or bring your own device, and said, how can we start to become recognized as one of the thought leaders in this space with no history in it in the past. So they literally went out, created a BYOD newsletter. They went out, they selected the key participants, the thought leaders in the industry, the top Twitter feeds, the keywords that are relevant to BYOD. They did that selection. We did it together. It took about 20 minutes, and guess what happens? They now have over 1,000 people subscribing to this newsletter. The neatest part about Paper.li for a salesperson is once you set it up, you literally can walk away and never touch it again. Now, I don't recommend that. I recommend you continue to go in and tweak it and add new keywords and maybe you remove some of the keywords, but it gives you an ability to keep in touch. And here's what's really powerful. Add the Twitter handle for one of your key prospects into this newsletter feed. Because what happens is if they tweet something about BYOD or they tweet something that's relevant, it will be included in the next day or the next week's newsletter. And they automatically, through the magic of Paper.li, they have an automatic notification that sends a message to that key prospect of yours. Hey, by the way, the new BYOD news is out and you were featured. Well, what is that person going to do? They're going to, I'll tell you, it happens all day long. They will go and they'll click on that link, they'll read about it, they'll find where they're listed, they'll read what was said about what they shared, and they'll notice who did it. So you've got a great opportunity there. Very effective. How much is it? It's free, or it's $9 a month if you want to go to the premium version. Google Hangouts. Who is it for? Anyone and everyone. It's a sales productivity tool primarily. It's intended, you can use it as an inside role, an outside role, account teams. It's a collaboration tool, it's a communication tool, it's a marketing tool, and it's a way to maintain constant contact with your customers. What does it do? Google Hangouts is a part of the Google Plus family. It literally is just the next generation of online chat, enhanced with video, high-def audio, event scheduling, and you can even record automatically and save it to YouTube as an automatic worldwide capability and distribution. Private Hangouts, you can have all of that same activity, and they're limited to 10 people. So if you don't want to publish it out to the world, you can have small team meetings or customer meetings with 10 or fewer people. If you have a corporate account, it's 15 people. And you can do what's called on-air broadcast, which means it's more like a webinar. You have interaction. You have up to 10 people smiling faces down at the bottom of the screen. You can interact. You can turn on or off their microphones. Very interactive. And I'll use an example of this. There's a large architectural firm that was presenting a bid to a hospital in a state that was half the country away. Highly technical topics for this specific meeting between the client and the firm. Expertise at the firm was distributed literally worldwide. People in Saudi Arabia, people in Australia that had very specific, deep expertise. By scheduling a Google Hangout, those experts with their expertise were able to contribute with whiteboard, screen sharing, and visual face-to-face communication to answer all of the questions that their client had. Available on iPad and Android and iPhones, doesn't matter. Tremendously powerful tool. By the way, it's free. I think you'll enjoy it. Next tool for me is one that I thoroughly enjoy because I'm not a web designer. Some of you will say, I know your eye for design is terrible. It is. Unbounce is a tool, again, that I encourage individual business people to use, individual salespeople, in addition to marketing teams, if they don't have the talent in-house, to build landing pages. But what is it? It's really designed as a way to create a quick and easy and efficient landing page for very specific activities. The beauty of why I really like it a lot is each individual sales rep can do their own. The problem is if you have lead generation that's going to corporate or going to someone back at headquarters, who knows where those leads go, but you know one thing, you're not getting your fair share. As a salesperson, I think we've all had that feeling. If you create your own landing pages with a drag and drop interface using Unbounce, you can build a page, publish it, drive traffic to it, measure it, and route those people directly to you, your email address, your phone number, or whatever it might be. So whether you've got a trade show coming up, you've got an event, a seminar that you're doing a new product rollout, create the landing page, drive the business, drive the traffic, and you can have it. You don't have to have anyone from IT involved. You take the guesswork out of it. Real-time, trackable information. You can do a page for free. You can play with it and try it out, and then the prices there start from $49 up to a couple $100 a month for a pro version, and then they've got some enterprise capabilities as well, if that's of interest to you. But I encourage you to go try it out. Unbounce.com, it's a game changer if you like to be able to have leads directly funneled into you rather than going to some big bucket somewhere that you don't always see. TimeTrade has become my #1 used and most productive tool of all the web tools we use. Who's it intended for? Anyone that has a calendar, obviously inside, outside salespeople. I also encourage you, if you're in a sales leadership role, to take a look at this from the enterprise level, from the work group level. Unbelievably powerful. It simply ends that time-sucking, opportunity-losing challenge of scheduling a meeting convenient to both parties. Nancy had a quote I wrote down earlier and tweeted it. She said, "Time kills deals." Absolutely the case. This is one of those that prevents that. You know what happens. You're trying to get on the prospect's calendar. They're trying to coordinate. It can take weeks. In fact, studies have found that 51% of a sales rep's day is taken up by non-sales activity. It destroys the efficiency, and very frankly, it destroys deals and opportunities. It's 24/7. It's very powerful. I would tell you, as I said, from personal experience, this is my most productive tool. I have a link for what I call a 15-minute exploratory call. That URL is buried in my LinkedIn profile, in my email address, in websites, in online activities that I do, as well as live events. I use it everywhere I go. And when someone says, "Miles," when they run into me at the airport, "Hey, I'd love to grab you for 15 minutes. When can we do it?" I have one simple answer. I give them a URL, which for me is ftf.sh for fill the funnel .shortener, ftf.sh/15min. I don't care who they are, where they are. They go to that URL, they click the button. They're going to look at my calendar and theirs. They pick a time. It's booked in my calendar and theirs. Unbelievably productive. Craig and I had this discussion before our session. I generate between 2 and 3 meetings consistently with brand new prospects I've never met before, don't know, just by using TimeTrade on my LinkedIn profile alone. Consistently, every week. It works. It's simple. It's very affordable. By the way, it's also fully mobile. It's on every platform you can imagine. And how much is it? You can have it and use it for free. There's a professional level, which I recommend for individual salespeople. It's $49 a year. And you can go up to $250 a year for a work group seat. And then they have enterprise and retail and other custom packages as well. If you're not using TimeTrade and you're in sales, you're missing the boat and you're leaving sales on the table, I assure you. Postwire. It's a tremendous collaboration tool. It's a tremendous tool that allows you to manage, communicate, and in my opinion, give real value to your existing clients and to your prospects. It gives you the ability through a web page that's very interactive and completely access controlled by you as the salesperson that creates it for each of your clients. Allows you to privately share, whether it's videos or photos or presentations or documents, RFPs, doesn't matter. It shows it all in a very visual way. As you look on the screen, a very nice, neat, graphically laid out presentation. It gives you the ability, whether it's through prospects or through clients, to give them one place that they can go to know everything that they want to know and ask about you, your company, your products, whether they're a prospect, whether there's meetings scheduled, maybe some of your business partners if you sell in a team environment. Maybe it's a business partner that you want to have added to this as well. Tremendously powerful, very easy to use. They have a free capability, a starter plan that goes at $9 a month all the way up to $19 a month for some pro level plans. But again, I encourage you, try it out with a free plan. You can have up to 5 private pages that way. What I know is customers love this. One place. They're not trying to figure out where they should go to get all this information. It's private. You control it. One-on-one communication to you or to a team as large as you want. Very, very effective. And for me, this one was a lot of fun. It was one of those that you can use very quickly. You can install it, and it just, for me, blew me away. Here's what I would suggest to you. I believe that the most valuable part of real estate, prime real estate for everyone in sales, is our email signature line. Just take a moment and just visualize your own signature on your emails. When was the last time you even looked at it, let alone when was the last time you changed it? Is it readable on a mobile device? Does it contain any graphic images that bogs down the recipient system or doesn't even open? Does it provide everything that the recipient could need to contact you or act upon or take action on a proposal, an offer, or maybe, how about something like time trade to set up an appointment? Does it even have your phone number? By asking and answering those questions, we all realize that our email signature is probably completely underutilized, and yet it probably is in more people's view every day in your business life than anything else you're going to do. Take advantage of it. It gives you the ability, WiseStamp does, to customize your email signature. And what I really like about it is to have multiple versions that can be rotated either automatically or manually based on who you're sending it to, what the purpose of it is. Is it your spouse or is it someone in business you've never met before? Probably need two different types, very customized to the specific needs of the individual. Lots of flexibility, lots of capability. They have a free service or a premium package, and you're going to run anywhere around $120 a year if you want to go full boat. Pretty cool stuff, very powerful, and hopefully I got all these done in my time frame.
All right, Miles, excellent. All right, and by the way, I have a WiseStamp email signature, so I was very excited to see that up there. Okay, so here we go. Next up is Brian Velmier. Brian, you're up.
Thanks. This is great, flying by. And I made a couple of assumptions when preparing or picking my 6 products. One is that for the enterprise, folks that are on the line, most of them are using CRM tools or similar. And, there's a lot of management tools that you go through a procurement process and all that stuff. The things that I selected today are very, very simple things that you can walk away from this webinar and try. They're free. They're easy. You can start using today if they add value to you. So Reportive is very, very simple. For those of you who are using Gmail, and we're in an era of getting better context to who our customers are, who our contacts are, our partners, our peers. Reportive is about as simple as it can be. It's simple, it's free, it's well-ranked, popular app in the Chrome Web Store. It's easy to install. Essentially what it does is it gives you greater context with the people that you're emailing. And so for those of you that don't use Gmail, just tune your ears out for about the next 15, 20 seconds. For those of you that do, this is something you can install, and as you can see there in the visual on the slide, all of a sudden you can get a context to who, the latest tweets, the latest interactions. You can even add a note on the person that you're emailing. Very, very simple, very, very easy. I should mention that Reportive was acquired by LinkedIn several months ago, and so it'll be interesting to see how it evolves. But as of today, you can still use and leverage Reportive in what you're doing. The next tool is, again, trying to get greater context to what's happening, not only with the people that you're interacting with, but just in the greater network. I've found a lot of value in this tool called Newsel. Essentially what it does is you get notified anytime anybody that you know or anybody that's in your network shows up in the news. It helps you with awareness of what's going on, and for all the rainmakers that are on the call, it allows you to essentially connect the dots in your network, follow up, send congratulations, consider new partnerships, capture opportunities that matter to you in a really free and simple solution. So if some of you may use Google Alerts for a similar fashion, this is similar to that, with the difference being that all of this news is aggregated in really one centralized newspaper for you with all of your friends and contacts, and you don't have to go in and set all those up individually. You import your LinkedIn contacts, you import your Facebook contacts, you can give it access to your email if you want to, and all of a sudden, anytime anybody that you know is in the news, you get notified in a free, easy way. Next slide. So nearly everybody in sales, whether you're a named account person, whether you're an inside sales rep, if you're focused on biz dev or lead gen, you've got some list of accounts that you're trying to nurture. The timing isn't right now, but you need to stay in front of them. And time again, I see so many sales reps working their list, and every month or every quarter or whatever it might be, they're calling up, they're leaving a voice message that says, hey, Mr. Prospect, hey, Bob, I'm just calling to check in and see if you're ready to buy yet. The words may be a little bit different, but that's essentially what they're doing, and they're wondering why they're not getting their calls returned. If you've been in sales for any amount of time, you know the edict that you need to be a trusted advisor. I believe this is becoming more and more true as customers don't need you quite as much anymore for education. But how many sales reps are really establishing themselves as trusted advisors? We heard Miles mention earlier Paper.li as a curation tool to help become a trusted advisor to their prospects and customers. These are two other tools that are similar in the same way. Scoop.it is a way to curate and provide content relevant to your customers' needs, pains, goals, and really also establish yourself as a thought leader and trusted advisor. What it does do is it gives you a little bit more control than Paper.li does. Paper.li is great. You set it, you forget it, it's up, and it's on autopilot. Scoop IT allows you to become more of a curator, and so if you've got a customer that you know is dealing with a big change management issue, or they're dealing with high turnover rate or whatever it might be, you can create a customized paper for them or for a segment of your customers and prospects on any topic and begin to do that. You know, there's a couple of case studies if you go to their website, and I'll briefly review them. One was a company called EcoVadis that wanted to educate supply chain managers on sustainable procurement and green purchasing. So what they began to do is begin to curate all of this really, really interesting data and send it out to their list. And so instead of calling up and saying, hey, are you ready to buy yet? They began to become established as a thought leader, and daily or weekly or monthly, however you set it up, they were essentially giving gifts to their prospects and helping them do their jobs better. It becomes a big differentiator. Very similarly, there was a digital marketing firm that began to do the same thing. They created 3 digital newspapers, and they provided valuable and timely information, keyword-rich content, promoted their own content. They began to basically attract a following and built a network around the stuff that their clients were interested in, and they became the established thought leader. And the reality is they weren't creating any of their content. Storify is very, very, very similar. Real quick, and then I'll come back. Very, very similar, although this allows you to create a narrative pulling together various elements from across the web. So essentially, if there's a few tweets, a couple of pictures on Instagram, you've got a movie or a video or whatever it might be, some of it might be your content, some of it might be somebody else's content, you can essentially create a customized narrative for a segment of your prospects and customers or an individual customer and then publish that to them. Again, giving a gift, being a thought leader, adding value during the course of the sales process. A great tool that I've seen leveraged in really good ways. Next slide. So most of you probably know the stats around getting a warm connection versus getting a cold connection. There was recent research that said when a salesperson has a personal connection to the person they're calling, the person being called is more than 5 times more likely to return the call. Means it makes a big difference. Many of you are probably leveraging LinkedIn to help in this manner. Reachable provides similar functionality, but the difference is this, is that Reachable isn't limited to just LinkedIn. You can connect with Facebook, you can bring your email contacts in, you can bring in your own proprietary lists, and the concept behind it is that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's highly correlated with connection strength. So Reachable has an algorithm that establishes connection strength. So if you want to sell into General Motors or you want to sell to a particular individual within General Motors, you type in either the company name or the individual name, and it will show you everybody in your network that's connected to that person within General Motors. It's overlaying who you know with great big databases of folks to establish this connection strength. So what it does is it helps you navigate your network much more quickly, much more efficient to get to the right people and the right decision makers that you need. This is standalone. By the way, in terms of pricing, going back to all the previous products, both Newsel, Scoop IT, Storify, Reportive, and Reachable are all free. If you do want to integrate Reachable with Salesforce.com, there is a fee there, and that's on a deal-by-deal basis. A few years ago, I was working on a project and trying to define what the next generation CRM system should look like. And so I was doing a lot of research. I was writing about it, having lots of conversations, and working on this project. And I got a call from a guy named John Ferrara, who was the original founder of Goldmine, one of the earliest CRM or contact management tools. He was coming back into the marketplace. He had some success, took a few years off, and he said, "Hey, Brian, I want to show you what my vision of the next generation CRM tool looks like." And quite frankly, towards the end of the call, I just talked to him. I said, "John, you've covered most of my ideas here of what I thought, wasn't going to be coming for quite a while, and a lot of it's here." So he's been working on this. It's taken a little bit of time. But if you're leveraging social networks for your interactions at all, you need to take a look at Nimble. It aggregates profiles data and interactions in a way that I, quite frankly, haven't seen done by anybody else. Quickly gives you context and history, has a nice, clean UI. So for those in search of a simple yet powerful, socially enabled tool, provides a really, really great solution. They're now working on a number of integrations. They're partnered up with HubSpot, MailChimp, Reportive, which we mentioned earlier. This week they announced an integration with Hootsuite. That has some very, very interesting use case potential. So if you're like Jill Rowley from Eloqua, who leverages social networks really, really well, and you need to create a unified profile for the people that you're in touch with, check out Nimble. It's free to try, and then I believe it's $15 per user per month. Finally, another startup that's trying to capitalize on new ways for salespeople to attract, connect, and interact with their prospective customers is a startup called CrushPath. It's started by the former CMO of Jive, a guy by the name of Sam Lawrence. And they've essentially created 3 great pillars to simplify lead generation by allowing a sales rep to really quickly get their own quality lead gen site up in literally seconds. It's called a pitch site. There's a lead qualification area for those that interact with that pitch site, an interactive collaborative timeline where both prospect and customer and sales rep can kind of see what each of the other is doing and interact in that. And then finally, similar to one of the earlier products that we saw from Miles, you can create your own customer portal where all of the documents, pictures, messages, videos, all of these things can be shared with your customer, that not only you're creating content and controlling your content, but that your customer can interact with as well. So these guys are out on the bleeding edge. They're pioneering. They're trying new things. They've got a ton of beta customers right now and some paying customers as well. It's a really, really innovative approach at leveraging some of today's latest technology capabilities to enable the salesperson to do their job better, quicker, faster, and more effectively. And so it's free to try. There's 3 pricing tiers that range from anywhere from $59 to $99 per month per user. Check it out. Give it a try. Everything that I've mentioned here today, you could spend the next half hour and probably give each of them a try and see if they'll add any value to you. Thank you very much for your time, and look forward to following up with you in the near future.
Thanks, Brian. All right, Matt, let's do it.
All right, I got 10 seconds on each of these. I'm just going to advance through
14.
Hey, can I vote, or can I get a show of hands through Twitter with the hashtag? Can we do this every week? This is awesome. This is like a fire hose of great social tools. And I know that it was difficult for all of us to pick our 6, and there's a lot more out there. So this is awesome. I'm learning a ton, making a big list, and most of them I'm going to put on the side and worry about later, because Lord knows I can only handle 1 or 2 of these at a time. All right. This is, I think, a plug for Deliver It as a tool, but this is really more of a hack to get your sales team to do a drip marketing campaign. So here's how it works. If you get a lead, if your sales team gets a lead in, I encourage them to connect with those people on LinkedIn. Send them a request in LinkedIn that says, thank you very much for downloading the white paper or attending the webinar. Would love to stay in touch. If you do that right, and if you've already got an inbound lead, I think you're going to get, and I've seen, you get about 75% of those folks will accept that invite. Now you've got direct connection between your prospects and your sales rep. And here's where it gets exciting. You can use Deliver It. Deliver It is a tool that will take any RSS feed and connect that RSS feed to a number of different social networks. So as soon as a blog post is posted, you can automatically syndicate that to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, other places. One of those places you can syndicate that blog post is to your sales team's updates in LinkedIn. So imagine every one of your sales team now has your company's blog post, headline, and shortened URL updating in their updates on a regular basis. It's a natural, automated drip campaign from your reps to their prospects without doing anything. It's pretty awesome. We'll go next. Buffer. Most of the really good people, sales reps that I know doing social selling are not creating a lot of content. They're curating content. And they're finding good content across the web and sharing that with their prospects. The problem is no one has time to sit around every day and do this all day long. You can do this once a week. Go through that stack of magazines that you wish you had time, your prospects wish they had time to read. Go through your blogs and your newsletters and find a bunch of great articles and queue them up. Buffer allows you to queue those articles up on the web so that they go out 2 a day, 3 a day, all spaced out. You can also do it to up to 20 of your social channels. So imagine you could pick, okay, this article I want to go on an inside sales channel in LinkedIn. This article over here I want to go on the Elko user group or the marketing automation expert group. You can pick and choose those different groups. Great way to show that you're way more active on these groups than you actually are to increase your visibility and drive more response for you. Next. Tweet Adder. There's a number of there's a couple services like this. Tweet Adder is one. Tweet Spice is another. I use Tweet Adder and I love it. It's a one-time license deal. Basically, if you want to say, I want to follow anyone that has VP of Sales in their bio, in their Twitter bio, that's within 50 miles of San Francisco, it'll give me a list of those folks, and I can follow 10 of them a day. If you want to follow everybody that used the hashtag social talk today, go to Tweet Adder or go to Tweet Spice and say, show me everybody that used the hashtag social talk in the last 24 hours. And you'll have that list. And you can follow them, 10 today, 10 tomorrow, 10 the next day. It's a great way to find and start to follow and build a network with people on Twitter that have similar interests. I do this every time I either go to a conference that I care about or in many cases don't get a chance to go to a conference but want to build a relationship with the people who are there because they have similar interests. Next. Contactually is a great tool that will basically help automate some of the reminders you need out of your email. How many times you forget to email someone back or you haven't been in touch with someone in a while, something reminds you totally randomly. Well, Contactually now sort of organizes that randomness. You can get it free or you can pay $19 a month, and basically it'll research and index the emails that you receive, and every day for free you can get an alert in the morning that gives you a handful, 5 to 7 people you should follow up with. I consider myself a fairly organized person. I use CRM. I've got a number of great tools, but without without fail, every day there's at least 1 or 2 people in that daily emails. I'm like, oh yeah, I really do need to follow up with them. Hugely helpful, and that morning email is totally free. Totally encourage you to check that out. And last but not least, if for no other reason, that's just to prove that this isn't that we're not purely promoting the sponsors. I like doing save searches in data.com. You can certainly do this in Inside View. I do it in LinkedIn as well with their signals. Be the first to know when new prospects are added to the database. Every day there's new people that get new jobs that have the titles that you care about, right? So set up those searches in the list source of your choice, whichever one's using. And I would actually encourage you to do multiple sources. There may be a ton of overlap, but if there's some random, unique folks in different searches, I'd encourage you to use that. And find out when people get a new job. Have an interesting angle to follow up with them, obviously. But data.com, a lot of these tools, you can actually pay money for the contact information, but the saved searches and just getting names and titles and company names is all totally free. That's my list.
Excellent. All right, Coco, take us home.
All right, here we go. My first pick is Sprout Social. I met the team there. I love them. It's the tool that we use in-house for social marketing as well as within our sales teams in some aspects. Sprout Social has one of the best ways of measuring and analyzing your social traffic, not just fans and followers and things along those lines, but you're really able to get in and find out who's doing what on these social networks and what impact they're having. So from a marketing and a sales management perspective, this works really well. It's also an amazing tool to use if you're just kind of using it for a one-off with the ability that it has. So I suggest everybody goes and checks out Sprout Social and gets into it. Next is SlideShare. Now, many of you already know what SlideShare is. SlideShare is an application that allows you to share PDFs and presentations. You can bake it into some of your social profiles. You can use it for lead generation, and I've used this from a company perspective as well as as an individual sales rep. So an individual sales rep can set up a SlideShare account and start promoting content that they have and having contact information around contacting them individually as a sales rep. And what we found, what I found, is that you actually get contacted based on this content that you're sharing through an application like SlideShare. Another reason why I really like SlideShare is because I'm a social guy and I like everything to be spread around through social networks. And SlideShare makes it extremely easy for you to be able to share information or share this content from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and your other social networks. My next pick is Hootsuite. And Hootsuite is another great social aggregating tool. It's an application that allows you to set up your Twitter profiles, your LinkedIn's, and your other social networks into one dashboard. And there's an example of what a dashboard looks like where you can see things in streams. So it really depends on what your personal preference is on how you're managing your social life. But Sprout Social has one way of doing it, and you can have some streams there. And then Hootsuite allows you to see things in a much larger view, or I guess more confusing view in some ways. But it allows you to see things in streams of information based on search terms, things that are being mentioned, your followers, and your home stream. And last but not least, I want to bring up Ifit. And this is another tool that kind of goes in line with what Matt was saying with Buffer App. Ifit is one of those tools that I think is extremely under-recognized within the industry within sales. I mean, from a marketing perspective, there's a lot of great stuff that can come from it, but from a sales perspective, when you're a salesperson, you don't want to have to find everything that you want to tweet and then schedule this stuff out. So Buffer App helps with that. What Ifit allows you to do is automate your social media efforts. So you can stream consistently into your different networks. You can set these things up for Google Reader to be automatically pushed into your LinkedIn feed, or an RSS feed to go into Buffer, or an RSS feed to go straight into your Twitter stream. So that you're not having to constantly look for information. You're able to automate the process once you've identified what you want to be tweeting or sharing within your social networks. And that's it on my side.
All right. Well, we did it, right? We got a couple minutes to spare. There was lots of doubters, didn't believe we could do it, and frankly, I got a little nervous in between there. But hey, we're good. We're here, and we did it. So before we end this, I do want to thank all of our experts today. Please follow them on Twitter. By the way, most everyone on this screen that was involved in this webinar, if you want to ask them a question offline, they're happy to do it, and they won't try to sell you anything. So please do that. Next week, we want to remind you guys that there's a great webinar with Jill Rowley, who was actually mentioned 2 or 3 times during this event, with Coco, who is, they were going to talk about social selling, and they're going to keep it real, which I think is one of the hardest things to discern today when talking about social selling. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. The tweet stream was insane. The amount of attendees was amazing. Everyone asked for the deck. We will be sending out the deck. We're going to be creating content after this. I think we have found a successful event. So listen for more. We may come out with another one very soon. Again, thanks to all my experts. Thanks to everyone for coming. And we look forward to hearing from everyone soon. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.